I'm pleased to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you to the Aluns for having us here. And it's also exciting for me to see a few of my friends from the University of Southern California, where I happened to be as a junior professor years ago. One of them actually helped save my life, so it's a big She taught me how to send memos and how to talk to academics.
Very useful.
Memos. As an artist, actually, I guess the not funny part about that is an artist trying to survive in the academy, and as an African American woman trying to survive on that tenure track. Very hard thing to do, and I really want to thank you, Nancy, for everything that you did to help me make that experience more hospitable. So and I also want to thank Ed Mullins, if you could when I first arrived in New York, another jungle, I had the opportunity that I think cannot go underestimated of having a door that was open for me to go in and learn more about telling stories in the theatrical form and to hear stories. And that is that Ed Mullins had a Saturday workshop at the New York Shakespeare Festival, the Public Theater, and we were all welcome. And that's really amazing to me that that existed, that was there, that community of dramatic storytellers could convene with a man who had meant so much to us and had been one of the fathers of the Black theater movement as we knew it. So thank you so much, Ed, for everything you did. I'm interested in singing. And I come to the story where the story sings. I think that people sing before they speak. My friend Jessie Norman, oops, dropped that name, told me that in fact she sang before she spoke, humming little tunes. And I think about Mavis Staples, who I saw just recently in Oakland, talking about her aunt who would walk around the house moaning. And she said, you know, Auntie, you know, why do you moan so much? And of course, she could take that mimicry of that moan and make it into an incredible song that made us all come to our feet. And so I think that people moan before they speak. Jessie Norman also told me that even though we credit the Welsh for that song, Amazing Grace, it has a lot more in common with West African tunes, the people in the belly of the slave ships moaning about their predicament. And so the moan comes before the words, especially if we want to think about words in relationship to social action and social movements. And I think the yell comes before, before victory. And we should worry when we don't hear any singing along with the words. When I wrote my play about the Los Angeles riots and interviewed 320 people from all parts of the city, including the late Daryl Gates, I was curious that there was no music in what some people were calling a revolution. It wasn't a riot, it was a revolution, they said. It was a social explosion, and I didn't know why there was no music at all, except for songs like Fuck the Police. But nobody was singing anything that I could hear out of their mouth. And so I went to the opera diva again, Jessie Norman, and asked her about that. And she said, well, you know, I think if I were a young person and nobody had ever asked me what I thought, and I think our classrooms where we study humanities and storytelling are the places that we learn to engage with ideas. If no one had ever asked me about that, she said, then I think it wouldn't be singing. It wouldn't be words. It would be like a lion just roaring. She said, I think it would be like the earth's first utterance. I really do feel so. And I think that this transition between the song and the story is what helps us move our narratives into action. I'm going to ask Blanche if you will help me with the basic words of FDR's 4 essential freedoms.
On the spot, right? On the spot. Freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom for religion, and freedom from want.
When I was teaching myself how to listen to people in a way that I could turn their stories into theater, I came upon a shop on Madison Avenue up the street from where I worked at KLM Airlines, reading and responding to letters of complaint. I found a shop where there were some tapes of FDR speaking his 4 essential human freedoms. And I would go home and I would listen to those and I would dance to those words. And just recently, in a college that doesn't have a huge arts program, I started belting out what I could remember about the 4 essential human freedoms. The first is freedom of speech and expression everywhere in the world, right? And then it goes, blah, 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 blah. You know? It was, I asked this young man to get up and dance, and immediately it was a waltz. I don't think that he probably did much waltzing. So the point is that FDR was speaking and singing at the same time in order to get the country to dance with his ideas. And I want to conclude by saying that I'm curious that our president speaks in a music that I've always been taught was not theatrical.
It's true.
To tell a story in the theater, you need to go up. You need to make the audience feel they're going forward. Our president says everything going down.
It's true.
And in his State of the Union address, he went further, and that instructed me as to why his going down is so effective in this time. He actually started to drum at the end of each sentence. So it went ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba. He is instructing us to march. So what I want to offer to the conversation is that the music in the story sometimes speaks louder than the words. Thank you.